There you go.
So we've got a few folks on here, enough to get started, I think. I'm announcing that this meeting is being recorded and it will become available on our YouTube channel on bennetvalley.org as soon as we, get done here. Um, and That's really all I have to say. If you have questions as we go along, please either put them in the chat or rate it down at the bottom of your screen. You can see a little hand. You can raise your hand if you want to talk. Um, and then we'll try to get to as many questions as we can. So we'd like to start with Moira, our president of the Bennett Valley Community Association, to welcome us all here.
Thank you, Chris. And yeah, good evening, everyone, and welcome. And I always like to start our meetings sometimes for myself and everyone just to remind ourselves our mission of the Bennett Valley Community Association. I know it's written, but real quickly, we have three main purposes. We promote and preserve the rural residential character and natural environment of Bennett Valley as outlined in the Bennett Valley Area Plan. That's one of our focus main missions. We also serve as an open forum for Bennett Valley community participation, as we're doing here. And thirdly, to provide a bridge for communication between government agencies and the Bennett Valley community. So first, I want to thank Chris and Robert for making this possible. And I'm sure everyone enjoys Chris, is the editor of The Voice, and it's such a beautiful newsletter. We're very fortunate to have Chris's talents on our team. And we have other board members on tonight as well. I'll introduce them next. And a quick reminder for everyone also in The Voice, May 21st, we have an in-person meeting at the Grange where Craig Harrison is giving us a presentation on 50 years of nature photography and safaris in Africa. That'll be super fun and interesting. On May 28th, we'll have the BVCA board meeting at the Grange in person at noon. Feel free to bring a brown bag lunch if you'd like, but you can see what a board meeting is like, and we can talk about having more of those over time that are include social interaction after the meeting. And then June 7th, please mark your calendars. That's the annual Grange Barbecue fundraiser. You'll hear more about that. And finally, in October, we can look forward to Dr. Martin's giving his latest talk on mountain lions in Bennett Valley.
Mm.
So we thought we would do the virtual one here this time to reach out to more folks in the valley. We're here tonight to listen to you, to learn about what's important to you. Robert's going to help by reviewing the great survey we just took, which told us a lot. But now we have a chance to just talk live, have casual interaction, conversation, and really learn from each other how we can even build more of our community connections here. So with that, let me pass it around to first start with Chris, our vice president and editor of Voice, and then on to the next. Any board members that would like to speak up and say hello, please do. Chris, you want to get started with that?
Well, I don't have a lot to say really. I want people to know that I'm very interested in the water issues in Bennett Valley, and I'm following the well. I am the well monitoring committee, and we go around and check people's wells and see how the health of the water table is in Bennett Valley. I'm also really very interested in traffic and roads issues. It seems like there's two flavors of roads in Bennett Valley, those that are just abysmally potholed and in need of tender loving care, and those that are so good that people drive way faster than they should. And I'm looking at you, Bennett Valley Road. So, those are things that are very top of mind for me on the Bennett Valley
Oh, great.
board.
And we can end up with Robert because Robert will get right into the survey for us. But Kristen, I see you're on. Kristen's our board member and secretary.
To me,
Just
yeah.
say hello. Yes.
Hi. Yes, hello.
Thank you. And or do we have any other board members on?
Melissa.
Melissa's here.
Great. Melissa, you want to just say hello to everyone?
Sure, I'm the newbie here. I've lived in Bennett Valley now for 2 years, and I just joined the board a few months ago. And my interest lies um, in getting more volunteers in the area in Bennett Valley, trying to get people more involved. So that's one of my interests. And my
Mhm.
other interest would be um, the pot issue.
Good.
Yeah.
So those two things are really, yeah, I see Chris has her hand up or
What are you
his hand
looking
up.
for volunteers to do?
That is a really good question.
Yeah.
That's a good question, and I'm hoping that as time goes by, we'll be able to figure that out.
Okay.
But even
Mm.
for events, right?
Yeah.
For events, because sometimes it's difficult to get volunteers who say they'll come and they don't show up.
Mhm.
So if we
Okay.
have a larger pool to pull
Mhm.
from, I think it'll be better. But if people are interested, put your name in the remarks and we'll write your name down and we will contact you when we've got events coming up if you're
Thanks.
interested.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks. And we'll also, as a follow-up to this, in one of the next voices, we sometimes put a list out of the kind of volunteer roles that we already have right now. And just like Melissa said, events is one area, and there's a number of other areas too, opportunities for people to get involved. So we'll put that out in a voice very soon.
Yes,
Great.
Thanks.
sounds good.
That's all I
And
have to say.
thanks, Melissa. Thank you. And any other board members before we pass it to Robert?
Bill is here.
Oh, good. Bill, say
Hmm.
hello.
Hello. Can you hear me all?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi. Uh, Excuse me, I don't have a picture up there, but it's okay. I'm not that pretty. My role is I kind of liaison between Bennett Ridge and the Bennett community area. Whatever pops up, whatever I can delve into and assist. I'm just kind of on the sidelines doing what I can when I can. So
Mhm.
that's my role up here in Bennett Ridge. So
Thanks,
back to you
Bill.
guys.
The
Thanks.
ambassador.
And anyone else there, Chris, from
Nope,
our board?
nope.
Okay. Well, then let's pass it to Robert. He's our immediate past president and all things guru on operations, making things run smoothly here for
Mhm.
BVCA. So, Robert, on to you.
Hello, everybody. I think I'll be in this board in 9, maybe 10 years. My wife and I moved here. We live right near Presley Road and Cinema Mountain Road. I'm the keeper of the loneliest library in the world. I want to thank anybody who's been dropping books off. By the way, I was walking by there the other day and I saw a vineyard worker, a young kid, pull over in the turnout and run out really quick and swap a book. So my interests are community. I won't say I enjoyed the wildfires in 2017, but I really enjoyed the camaraderie and saw this community come together. So uh, I'm not going to read you all the results because we already emailed them out. But as somebody who has been trying to make sure that we keep good records, because 2 years from now will be our 50th anniversary of the Voice newsletter. And for a tiny community with basically no commercial activity, to maintain almost a monthly newsletter for 50 years is quite an accomplishment. And in pouring through that, because it's fun to read some of the old stories. I'm here to tell you the survey results look exactly the same as 5, 10, 20, 35, and 50 years ago. There were wildfire safety issues, road issues, maybe a little bit more mailbox crime back then, road trash. So why are we having the meeting? The idea is that new people come. It's a chance for us to kind of link up near the beginning of the year, share with you where we're at, and it's a chance just to make sure that we're communicating. So, the top four things that people said, safety and protection were the top of mind. Wildfire, 90% of the people said that's what we want to focus on. The question for you is tonight is what does that mean? That we've had almost 10 years of prep and you're all been doing stuff. I don't know. We have to think about what else does that mean. Personally, I'm very happy to hear Melissa talk about the social aspect. We talk a lot about cannabis and policy and county stuff. But if people are hanging out with each other, maybe at parties at the Grange Hall, that to me is I think that's the best way to build trust in the community, and that will lead to people collaborating on wildfire stuff. Protecting the rural character, road conditions, and water and the health of the aquifers. And then lastly, we kept the survey really simple. The top four issues were, what kind of events what do you want to hear? And it was history and geology,
Mm.
which I do think is fascinating here. Nature and the environment, from the mountain lions. There are black bears, I think, that are beginning to creep into Sugarloaf and return to Sonoma County. So,
Mhm.
living with wildlife and just water in the creeks and all these related issues. Personally, roadside litter, I think, is going to continue to get worse as costs of dumping go up and we get more housing built along Petaluma Hills Road. And there's bike safety. I really, that one mailbox on Bennett Valley Road, I feel sorry for that family. How many times has their mailbox been taken out? I mean, it's almost should be a special fund just for them.
Every week.
Let's see. The need for earlier notice about county decisions. You asked what you could do. One of there's really two things a volunteer could do that I think is pretty easy to participate. Um, Rebecca's on the call, and Rebecca was personally very passionate about the park issue, the North Sun Mountain Regional Park. The best volunteers are people who say, "This is what I care about. This is my pet issue. I'm going to drive this," and that's really the best. It's not really for us to tell you.
Mhm.
But once we have an issue that you care about, uh, keeping tabs on the county, listening or watching or attending meetings and sharing notes that we can throw in the newsletter, that's one of the best things. And helping us put on more town halls. The more people can meet each other and see each other, I think the more stuff will get done. So
Mhm.
that's pretty much it. I'll be happy to answer any questions, but I just want to open up the floor. The purpose of this call, and how long are we going till? 7:30?
Yeah.
The purpose of this call is you're in charge now. We're taking notes, we're recording this, and let your neighbors know if they weren't able to attend, we're going to post it on YouTube. So with that, I'm done.
Great. Yeah, we want to hear from everyone. So,
Mhm.
does anyone have any comment on the survey or the topics or questions for any of us?
I got an email back from a woman who I can't remember who she was. I don't know her, but she said, I think the turkeys are a big problem here in Bennett Valley. There's too many turkeys. What do we do about them?
Well,
Because
true.
they're displacing native species and they eat all of the insects and all of the lizards and amphibians and things like that. So I thought that was a really interesting question, and I don't have an answer. I'd like to kind of dig down into it and see what do people do when they have too many turkeys.
I don't think there's an answer for that one.
Are they like appetizers for mountain lions by chance?
Is
Or
it true that the turkeys actually only came here as recently as the 70s?
Yeah,
uh
yes.
or
That's
in the
wild.
early 1900s, I thought, for there was a turkey farm.
Oh,
Yeah, and they were brought in to do turkey farming.
Yeah, there's
They
a,
they brought them back out though in the 70s because they were trying to reestablish them here, but they're really actually not even,
Not
we didn't
native.
even have them in California particularly. Now we have them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
have a question. One of the things, sorry, one of the responses on your survey was exterior lights in Bennett Valley. That was kind of a unusual one.
Mhm.
Mm. That's a big topic, actually. It comes up a lot with when we used to have planning committee, and the problem is there are people that build in Bennett Valley that put a lot of up lighting. The
Oh.
lighting goes
Oh.
up and it
Mhm.
really interferes with the flyway
Mhm.
and other wildlife. And
Mhm.
kind of having muted down facing lighting is kind of the key to keeping the wildlife happy.
Well,
And
Mhm.
we
those
just
Yeah.
have,
technically, those guidelines are still, you can read it in the Bennett Valley Area Plan on the
That,
website. That
yes,
document is still active at the county. So when you apply, like to build a new structure, technically the county is looking at that. Are they enforcing it super harsh? Probably not. Or when people do remodels, but technically it is written, and most communities out in rural like this recommend, like for noise pollution, animals to have the downlighting. So that's
yeah.
probably where that comment's coming from.
We have two questions already. So first, Chris Patillo, you think you had a question,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
then Rebecca had a question that I can answer about the supervisor meetings.
Becky Bass. Go ahead,
So
Chris.
my question, I live on Paraka Road, which is one of those roads that's a pothole nightmare, and it's really short. There's only 7 houses on the road. And surprisingly, we've had furniture dumped 3 times in the
Mm,
year and a half that I've lived here.
Mhm.
And fortunately, when I call the county and complain, they come and pick it up immediately. I'm
Mhm.
very impressed. I'm from
Mhm.
Oakland, and it's a world of difference here. Somebody mentioned litter, and I'm thinking, oh, you don't know litter. Anyway, litter and graffiti.
Mhm.
Um, but I'm just wondering, the garbage trucks drive all over every street. They must see this litter on the side of the road, and particularly on Grange, there's one spot where stuff always gets dumped. Why doesn't the garbage company just say, "Oh, there's a pile of litter. Let's stop and pick it up"? Does anybody know the answer to that?
I
mm,
think they're on a strict schedule.
Mhm.
Well, there's the cost of that. I actually contacted Recology and said, would you sponsor if we did a cleanup day and we had all the neighbors put stuff in bags along the road, would they do that? And they politely declined. It's a cost for them, number one. Two, furniture is, the trucks aren't designed to take that. Uh, when I last contacted the county about this, because that's one of the things that angers me the most around here because it's so beautiful and then
Yeah.
people would dump it. And what's happening is it's people in Cotati, Rona Park are
Mhm.
probably answering Craigslist ads to have someone come take their trash away.
Uh,
And those people, to save the $100 or $200 disposal
sure.
fee, are dumping it up here at 11 o'clock at night, is what's
Oh my
happening.
God.
Uh-huh.
Now, as I understood it, the county told me once that it's CHP's technical responsibility. And when
Mhm.
there was boats being dumped on the road here, they were 5, 6, 7 weeks out. So it sounds like
Uh,
it's gotten better.
yes.
Um, but that's an issue that I think is worthy of a volunteer-led focused effort. I'm
Hmm.
willing to serve on that, but I am waiting for the right person to step up and say, I am passionate about this issue.
yeah, good example. And thanks, Chris. Great question. Becky, I saw your question come in about meetings with the supervisor, and just I can quickly answer that for everybody. So last year, by the way, was a very busy year for us with meeting with the
Mhm.
county officials. We had at least six, seven meetings, if I include the town hall that we held at the Grange with the permit Sonoma on the general plan issue. I think that was in either March or May of last year. But then we also met with Rebecca Hermosillo twice last year.
Mhm.
I've been in touch with her on email multiple times and phone. And then the planning commissioner we met with twice, and also Scott Orr and his whole group. And all of that, of course, kept us very busy last year with the ordinance.
Mhm.
That issue, I won't go into it too much right now, but uh, Becky, offline, I can definitely give you an update on that and what we're planning to do this year to further meet with Rebecca Hermosillo and others in the county. We very much welcome anyone who would like to participate in those meetings. Just contact me. And if you'd like to go to one, and of course, we're always looking for people who might even join the board. And that's one of the things we do is go meet with the county officials
Mhm.
and try to advocate best we can for Bennett Valley.
Yeah, that's sort of behind the scenes things that we do on the BVCA board and other people's that most people don't know that we do this, that we're working on their behalf. And so, I think yeah, I think it needs to be more clear, and it would be good to have another meeting with Hermosillo if she'll listen to us.
Well, and I
Yes.
meant just for her to have more access to the community as a whole, not just the board.
Mhm.
It does that.
Yes, no, absolutely, Rebecca. So, in fact, I invited Rebecca Hermosillo to a town hall here in Bennett Valley recently. I
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
asked her,
Mhm.
and honestly, I was shocked at the answer. She told me, I'm not doing any town halls. And we're not done with that question yet, or the
Okay.
follow-up to that question and
Sure.
the answer.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
I think one of the issues with Rebecca Hermosillo is she, I guess, felt like she got really burned at the Bennett Valley candidate forum with
Uh,
that other candidate.
yeah.
Mhm.
And dozens of people from Bennett Valley have kept reminding her something she said at that meeting.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I think it's really gotten under her skin, but it shouldn't because that's what a public official,
Mhm.
supposed to
Absolutely.
have thick skin.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yes.
So,
She has to
yeah,
be able to stand by her record. Absolutely. But that's a learning curve for her. I mean, she's new
yeah.
at this. Yeah.
Does,
Okay. Well,
does
I'm
she does she do town halls for anybody or go to other places?
That is a good question. I haven't seen that she's done too many town halls at all. What I have learned so far, and I basically, since we just did the survey, my next step is to re-engage with her staff and, try to get on her calendar as soon as possible again.
Mhm.
But I, I think she's sort of chooses some pretty carefully orchestrated community events.
By the
Hmm.
way, I just want to comment real quickly. Tying the turkey together with Rebecca Hermosillo. These are two issues. You don't need to go through us to participate. So let's say you're interested in the turkey thing. That's probably an issue that other communities care about. So
Mhm.
if any of you are curious, one thing that would be helpful, and you can just do it yourself and then share it with us, which
Mhm.
is assume that other people have the same issue in Sonoma County. Find those communities, find out what they're doing, gather and then report it back to us. We throw it in the newsletter, and that's all you have to do. You don't have to sign up for anything else. And the same thing, that's a good question. The county's pretty good about putting a lot of their meetings on YouTube. So if
Mhm.
that's something you'd like to know more about, what would be helpful instead of waiting for us to do it, go to their website, call their office saying, oh, do you do town halls and do you record them and share back with us? And because those are links we can put in the newsletter to make sure that everybody's watching.
Mhm.
Yeah. And at the same time, we recognize at the BVCA board that we want to help give the community a voice too. So it's exactly what Robert said. People just like Nike says, just do it. And then
Mhm.
also as a group, we help organize activities to make sure the voice is as strong as possible and
Mhm.
go in, as a team. So it's
Right.
all good. And was there another question there on the chat or?
Well,
Rebecca, you had a question about the
yeah.
planning department. What is happening with the BVCA and the planning department to limit building on the ridges?
Oh, that's a really good question.
Mhm.
So, yeah, just to build on what we were all saying before, that is on the agenda to talk with both Rebecca Hermosillo, but also the general plan is going through their big review right now. So this year we need to meet with some other county officials that are focused on the general plan update and making sure the Bennett Valley area plan doesn't get thrown under the bus in any way with that general plan update. And that this building on the ridge is, I think, a definite issue out here. We all see too many buildings and with lights going up on the ridges.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I wanted to get more involved, I'd just reach out to you.
Sure, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go talk to people. I definitely have on my to-do list as soon as possible the person who's in charge of the general plan and to have a conversation with them about the Bennett Valley area plan. And absolutely, let's put building on the ridge lines, up there on the top
On the
5
ridge.
issues. Yeah, that's really one of the top 5 issues for Bennett Valley. We were not supposed to have any big noticeable buildings on any of the ridge lines.
Mm-hmm. Is that Ross Markey, the guy who is
Yeah,
in
Ross
charge?
Markey, and then there's also another one that's important to talk to. The name is escaping me right now,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
yeah, good stuff.
So Brantley and Nancy are saying that Rebecca Hermosillo refused to go to Franz Valley.
True.
Their comment.
I don't know what Franz. Can you tell me what Franz Valley?
Yeah, what's
goes
Franz
to?
Valley?
Nancy, are you there? Can you
Yeah, France
tell us
Valley
about?
is in her district. It's kind of close to Calistoga.
Oh, okay.
It's where one of the fires started.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. And another thing I wanted to mention is it might be a good idea to contact the Parks Department about the turkeys because they had a whole program where they tried to, and pretty successful program, I think, and they tried to eradicate the feral pigs. So these are definitely animals, turkeys that are not native to our area, and there maybe should be some kind of program where they would try to get rid of them or reduce the population size.
They did with the pigs.
Give them birth control.
Yeah.
I said that.
Yeah. No, that's a very good point. Thanks, Nancy. Totally agreed. We just let's add it to the to-do list. Let's talk turkey.
Can we go
And the
back
other
to the
person
arc?
with the general plan is Doug Bush. Doug Bush is the other
Yes,
person.
thank you, Nancy. Right. I always check with Nancy before I go to any meeting in the county, make sure I'm meeting with all the right people. She knows all of them.
So it was Doug Bush and who else?
Ross Markey.
Ross Markey.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think of him as an ally.
Yes.
I've talked to him in the past about the Bennett Valley area plan, and he's very responsive about it. And I think he's quite serious about it. So I think that he's probably on our side, unless, unless he's not. But we'll find out. He's been working a lot with Tamara Boltby, the gal who was involved with writing the very first Bennett Valley area plan. So they're kind of in cahoots.
Can we go back to the archive?
Oh, Becky, and before we go to the archive, Becky Bass is trying to communicate. I think she has another question, but can't raise her hand. Becky, are you able to
I can
speak up?
talk. Yes, I can
Okay,
talk.
thanks. Thank you.
I don't know why. I'm looking at all the little icons down below, and I don't see a thing that says raise your hand. So I wasn't sure
Oh,
how to enter the conversation without interrupting. But I just wanted to say, after Nancy was pointing out that Hermosillo had refused to go to Franz Valley, that they were one of the areas of the county that were very vocal in opposing the changes to the cannabis ordinance.
That's right.
So I feel like she is shying away from, um, doing what she really needs to do, which is explaining to us why she voted the way she voted. What are we not understanding or seeing behind the scenes that she has this greater perspective on that she could explain or share with us? Because I'm still wondering. But anyway, I think that's interesting that she refused to go to Franz Valley too, because again, she doesn't want to face the music, essentially. She doesn't want to defend her position or explain her position.
Thank you, Becky. And yeah, I share the same exact concern as
Yeah.
you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Well, thank you all, you guys. I'm glad Bill Cervaka's on too, but I'm in your situation, but only in a very smaller situation with Bennett Ridge. I'm the president of the Bennett Ridge Community Association right now. And we have the same issue, not enough volunteers for the things we'd like to do. It's always a few people who do all the work and, that kind of thing. And so, anyway, I do want to stay in touch with you guys and know what you're doing. Um, and right now, I'm a little maxed out, uh, but I understand and I appreciate what you're doing, and I'm really grateful for all the effort that you guys put into, looking out for Bennett Valley and keeping it the wonderful place to live that it is.
Thanks, Becky.
Yeah.
And yeah, just keeping the communication lines open across all the neighborhoods, it's really great. And it's nice, to know community leaders like you, all of us across the valley, just stay connected and communicate. And it definitely helps.
Yeah. I
Thank
think,
you.
sometimes when people first move into this area, they're a little bewildered by what all the different acronyms do and what the difference is
Yeah.
between them. We have BRCA and you guys are BVCA. It's very confusing. What's the difference?
Yeah. I
You
still
know,
meet people who have no idea of what BVCA does, and they're like, "Wasn't that the homeowners association that went out of business like 30 years ago?" I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I need s- we need to do some more work here.
Yeah, it's a big PR campaign for sure.
Yeah.
something that's been on our to-do list that we're finally kind of getting organized is we're planning before the end of the year, we will have a system in place, probably through like a realtor who have access to the MLS system. That right around 30 to 60 days after somebody closes on a property here, they should get an email from us and and actually they're going to get a paper letter signed by a person that says welcome. And we're building a special page at Bennett Valley called bennetvalley.org/welcome. It's not up yet. And that page is going to be for somebody who's just settled in, we're here, here's the stuff. And so once we put that together, we'll be asking all of you for advice on like, we don't want to overwhelm people, but the idea is they'll get all the resources in there. Who's the best plumber and all, everybody guards their handy person that they use. But that's one thing that's been on a to-do list that we're finally going to get to this year.
Oh,
It's
sounds
great.
great.
Thank you, Robert. That's great.
Mhm.
You had a question about the archive?
So
Yeah,
Chris,
I did. Is the archive strictly a digital archive, or do we somewhere have a physical archive?
Well, the only physical asset the BVCA has is that storage container at the Grange. And then there's of course the Grange, which we play really nice with. So,
Yeah.
technically, yeah, we could put stuff in that storage container. It's waterproof and it's tight. But
Mhm.
every physical item needs to have some method of care and maintenance. And so,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's plenty of room in there for
Mhm.
storage boxes. And the digital aspect includes record keeping of like if a box is in the storage container, we plan to have a digital copy of saying if you're looking for this photo, it would be there. And eventually probably partnering with the Sonoma County Historical Society where they help archive and stuff like that. So, and that's a personal
Okay.
passion of mine. So, I already got you figured as the history person, so you and I have become fast friends.
Well, I volunteer every Tuesday at the physical archive for the Russian River area, which is why I asked the question. And we
Great.
have a collection of artifacts and objects and photos, and it's kind of a big deal. So I'm
Yeah.
not necessarily saying go there because it's a big commitment.
Yeah.
Well, the only other physical item is the newsletters themselves
Yeah.
that were printed and mailed. And I don't know, does somebody have all of those? Robert, do you have them all or?
No, they were like, for example, the original ones were scanned about 20 years ago, and I
Oh,
recently tried to ingest them into AI to parse
uh-huh.
them, and they were so blurry. But AI said, "Oh, I've got a new piece of software that's free," and it rescanned the bad scans and
Wow.
fixed all the gaps. So actually,
Wow.
you can go to our website now and just do a text search and come up, and it's really kind of fun because when I was going through it, it's so provincial out here, and the articles are really funny. They're number one, they're kind of the same thing, but the other thing that's happening is these tools have gotten to the point now where even nonprofits like us, with very few volunteers and no resources, this software is making it much easier. And I actually believe one of the main functions of a nonprofit is to maintain good records, and that includes history. Our ability now to digitize. So I've started interviewing, I've already interviewed Inga, her life story. I've interviewed
Mhm.
Martin Vanderkamp.
Oh.
Anybody over the age of 70, I think we should be recording them with a phone and
Hmm.
storing that audio for people that want to share their stories. So over the
Yeah.
coming years, I think there's a lot more we can do. To, and we have now a place to put all that stuff.
Mhm.
Well, the other thing that occurs to me, it wouldn't hurt to have a few copies of The Voice at the History and Genealogy Library in downtown. It might
Mhm.
be a way for people to find us.
Yeah,
Good
That's a great idea.
suggestion.
Does
Um,
anybody have any?
I don't. Well, Chris, did you have anything more on history? Just I wanted to change topics with a question to everyone, but before I do that, can I ask a question? Or
Mhm.
did you have some more on
No,
history, Chris Patillo?
no,
Oh, okay. But yeah, those are great suggestions. And offline, I would love to follow up with you because there's a bunch of other things going on at the Grange regarding history that I would love to talk to you about.
great.
Uh,
Okay.
Question for everyone. So, emergency preparedness was on the top of interest level with the survey response. We have been holding a emergency preparedness
Yeah.
town hall open house every other year. We had one in 23, and then we had another one last year in about, I want to say May of 25. We definitely had it last year. And we had even more vendors there. We had one person who was a nonprofit totally focused on emergency preparedness for seniors, which I thought was
Mhm.
really good for Bennett Valley.
Mhm.
And another one, of course, she is famous in Sonoma County for emergency preparedness for animals,
Mhm.
from
Mhm.
small critters to livestock.
Mhm.
And so, question to everyone is, should we continue this program every other year? Do people somehow think we should have that every year or what? We hold it at the Grange, by the way.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I can
I
share
think.
my personal experience on that subject. Um, the halter lady, the lady with the animals and the
Mhm.
horses, I've heard her spiel at least 3 times. There is a group, and I can't, I could dig through my information, but they're in Petaluma. It's a nonprofit, and their goal is older people, and I certainly meet that criteria. But it doesn't matter. They have a class, and they give you a to-go bag. They give you all kinds of goodies. It's stuff from the dollar store, but a raincoat and a flashlight, and
Mhm.
it's wonderful.
Mhm.
They yeah, Inga, they were there. They were there at the at the
so
open
so
house.
so it would be wonderful to actually have it. It's a 2-day session.
Oh.
Their setup is it's like about a half a day, and it's classroom style with different speakers. And
Okay, like a lesson.
Mhm.
yes,
Okay.
Seminar.
didn't I give you that, Robert? Didn't I once I now years
I'm
ago?
sure you did.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Inga, are you wondering if they are maybe looking for other physical space to hold these events? Maybe the Grange Hall
Yes,
would be a.
they're doing them all over the county, so I am sure they would be willing to come to Bennett Valley and do it at
Would
the
you be
Grange.
willing to contact them for us and report back and let us know what they say?
I will do that.
Yeah, this meeting's being recorded, so I have your
I know your
commitment.
style, Robert. A
Recorded.
suggestion ends up being your project. But I feel very strongly. I learned a lot and I changed things. It's things like, pull your car in backwards into the garage. Things, such comments. It's a wonderful program. I will give them a call and I will get back to you folks.
Excellent.
Well, we did have that group at the emergency preparedness open house last year. And so the question for everyone on the floor right now is, should we continue that program as every other year, or do people think we should try to hold it every year?
What kind of a turnout did you get last year? How many people attended?
It was actually pretty lightly attended, which surprised me because with the survey, when I saw the high interest in the topic, probably 30, 40 people
No, it's
came
not
through.
bad.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Bad.
yeah. And we had all the first responders there. This group that Inga is talking about, but I think Inga, you bring up a really good idea, which is a follow-on would be an actual seminar, like a half day or whatever time frame makes sense at the Grange for emergency preparedness for seniors.
Yeah,
That would be a good one.
I attended that presentation that you're talking about where, where there are people from the CHP was there and fire department and the whole schmear. What I'm talking about is very, very different. It's presenters and learning aids and
Yes, yes.
I should almost go upstairs. I have my go bag ready. And it's interesting because it's well, the classes are on Saturday, and I think that enables more people. It isn't just old people, and not at all. And they're putting on these sessions all over the county because I read the Press Democrat yet, and I know they've done it out at the river, and so I will get back to you and give you the information.
Great. Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Okay.
As a follow-on to Mara's question, is there anything about emergency preparedness that you're thinking about that you haven't heard the BVCA or anybody talk about yet? Like, are we missing anything that we should be focusing on?
I personally feel like the fire threat is not going to go away. We've had a reprieve. We've had lots of rain the last couple of years, and there's going to be a major fire again. And I think that's one of the big things. Earthquakes are another issue. And I think it's good to kick out the cobwebs. I personally like a little. I rather hear it twice than not hear it at all. And just and again, just so you have things with your neighbors, like our little group, we're on a private road, but we have somebody who has property out at the coast. And when we couldn't get back to our houses, we all went out to the coast. So people need to have that kind of environment and information. And I personally wouldn't mind every single year. But if attendance isn't good, I'm really upset because I do lots of Zoom classes and I can tell how many people are watching here. And if we get rid of the board, there'll be about 3 of us talking to each other. And I know you folks work hard and by the way, it's easy, but why aren't people here? Okay,
Yeah, that's a good question.
It I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to get off my soapbox now.
No, thanks, Inga. That's all really good comments. And it is a challenge all of us see that are in community organizations the past 10 years. And definitely after the pandemic, it got worse, where there was a real big pullback from people engaged in their communities. So I feel like we're still in a rebuilding mode and reconnecting mode. So I agree with others, and Robert mentioned it, and others mentioned, Melissa, about maybe using the Grange as our community center to just try to build this back where people meet and see each other again and maybe get more people engaged. So.
Yeah.
Melissa, you had your hand up?
Yeah, so I really do like the idea of doing things yearly just because, when things aren't happening, we forget.
Mhm.
When things aren't happening, we, kind of rest on our laurels.
Mhm.
But in order to get, it's that question of how do we get more people to come and how do we, quote unquote, market it or advertise it? How do we get the word out? I mean, I know we have it in the voice and we have signs up, but for whatever reason, that's still not getting, I'm not sure if the message is still getting out. And how do we increase the message to
Mhm.
get out that this is what we're doing and how important this is, and this is our community, and how do we bring people in? What else can we offer at the events?
Mhm.
What else, how can we bring them in?
I have an
Right.
idea. So people always love food, and people, if they drink, they love a nice bottle of wine. And there's so many wineries around Bennett Valley. I mean, it'd be kind of nice to have like almost a wine tasting event in the
Uh-huh.
Grange of the wines around Bennett Valley,
Mhm.
associated with people that love to cook and bring and show off their food, which I love to cook.
I do
So
like that. Yeah. I
it's
know.
just kind of a fun thing. And, that's just an idea.
I
Great
agree with
idea.
you. And
Yeah.
I am personal friends with the tasting room manager at Matanzas Creek.
Mhm.
So, we can, possibly do something like that. And you're right. Food is the great equalizer. Everybody likes food. And you could be from, you can be left, you can be right, you can be center, politically. But if you
Mhm.
are sitting down and having a meal and you're having wine, it's um it's a great way to bring people together. And maybe,
Mhm.
yeah, and I agree that might be a way to bring the community more together and have a band or whatever. I mean, I know that's kind of what the barbecue does, but um, I like the idea of having something more like that.
Mhm.
Would the
And trying to,
winery host us at their venue?
yeah,
And
It's a
then
really
also
nice.
Good.
people make their own wine too.
that's
Mhm.
true.
Like
Yeah.
Jim makes his own wine, my husband. And so, I mean, just kind of people to show off whatever they have.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I know of somebody too right here off of Sonoma Mountain Road who makes their own wine.
Mhm.
Yeah.
A wine social.
A wine social.
Mhm.
I
yeah.
do think an adult event where we're
Mhm.
number one tasting the wine and even like a potluck format could work. There's two times a year that might be best. One is, fire season starting earlier and earlier, having it be an annual thing, like, hey, gearing up for fire season. But that's really, really around May or June.
Mhm.
But I think it could be a complement to the picnic if it were maybe an evening or, dinner time event, adults only.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, if anybody, I've been wanting to do an event, just a party at the Grange,
Mhm.
but we'd need some volunteers to help organize that. So I'm happy to serve on that, but I can't lead that. So if
Mhm.
anybody wants to, count me in.
I'd be more than happy to lead that event.
Great.
Okay, we have
Fantastic.
a quorum.
Is Melissa, are you a
I would
party
help
girl?
because I always like a good, gathering. I love the community thing too. I'm a big
Yeah.
community
I
person.
think most
Mhm.
people like making wine. It literally, I've done the math on it because that only the capacity is what, 150, 200. So
100.
right. So that's, indoor, outdoor in the parking lot. But if every winery donated 2 or 3 bottles, that'd be plenty
Yep.
Mhm.
for that crowd.
Mhm.
So, and because you're not selling it, you're not subject to all sorts of regulations.
Right.
Yep.
Hmm.
Cool. All right, Melissa, that'll be fun to work on.
Okay.
I think we have 10 minutes left. What else?
How many members are in this organization?
We send our email list is 650,
Oh, wow.
but that doesn't mean that,
Right.
there's 650 individuals. So
There are almost 1,200 parcels, around 1,185 parcels in Bennett Valley. And
Mhm.
I did an analysis once. My guess is that 600, if you subtract non-landowners and 2 people in a household or more, I think that email list is reaching about 20% of
Uh-huh.
all of the residents of Bennett Valley proper. So
Hmm. Mhm. Should be more.
Should be.
some of these people are second homes, they're living out of state, they've inherited the
Mhm.
property from parents. So that's understandable because, like I said, we're rural. There's one topic I want to just seed, and that is I just recently learned the Bay Area is going to have the second or third oldest population over the age of 50 in 15 years.
Mhm.
That means that Bennett Valley already has an older, somewhat retired population. That means there's all sorts of aging in place issues, not just fire safety, that I'm wondering if there's other kinds of content that we might want to start thinking about. So I'm just planting a seed in case that triggers anything for anybody, like from
Mhm.
financial fraud
Mhm.
to
Hmm.
modifying your property to be safe because falls and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Um, that's just something that sort of it's a different kind of emergency preparedness.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah, great idea.
Can I do a little bit of show and tell?
Oh, good.
I went upstairs to get my to-go bag, okay? Which part of the thing is you need to know exactly where it is so you can go out the door. And I just want to give you some examples. A thing for water. I don't even know what's in here.
Shouldn't it be
See, I
filled with
followed all
water?
the instructions, the meds I take and contact numbers. I absolutely love it. And you wear it on your back and
And you can't miss it.
you can't, no,
It's
no.
bright red.
I even won a prize. I was very creative because you get the bag the first day and then you personalize it
Ah.
for the second class. And oh yay!
Oh, we got a go bag showdown show off
Another
here. All
one.
right,
Wow.
Nancy's just raised you a green go bag, red go bag.
Uh, so anyway, I won I got a special prize because I added a roll of TP to my bag, and that's an important addition. Okay. So anyway, so I'd like to ask, is it Nancy? Where did you get your go bag?
We have a neighborhood, we had a neighborhood meeting about it, and I wasn't in charge, and I'm not sure, but I think the county sponsored it.
Mhm.
They were doing it all over the county, and
Yes.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So
right,
anyway,
yeah. So we had a whole meeting, and she had a list of items to cover, and it was great. I think it's important for the neighborhoods to have somebody in charge and as kind of the communications person, and it should be kind of small. We have 80 homes in our development, and our street it has a neighborhood watch
Mhm.
area. So there's maybe 8 of us, and that seems to be a good number.
Mhm.
we have something going on. I live off a private road with whatever, 7 houses. And we have a phone list and everybody's email and uh, just, in case, again, there have been things when somebody called me up and said, are you okay? And I appreciate that because I'm a little old lady that lives alone. So,
Mhm.
um, That's a good thing.
Mhm.
Well, I think we have a few minutes left just in case anybody wants to cover any topic we haven't covered yet or last questions before we wrap up.
I just want to say thank you for hosting this and advertising it. And I'm new and wanting to
Mhm.
know more about what's going on, and I learned a lot this evening, so
Mhm.
appreciate it.
Well,
Thanks,
you're a great
Chris.
contributor to the Bennett Valley Voice, and I really
Doing my
appreciate
bit.
your articles. They're really nice. So
Great. Well,
keep
I'll
up the good
keep
work.
at it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, and Rebecca's saying desserts too.
Yes, sounds good.
Yeah,
Well,
I really like the idea of having a social for adults, a wine social. And I think, I would certainly be on your committee, Melissa. That sounds fun.
Well, before we wrap up, this is just a comment for those watching on YouTube that this is something that if you're not already subscribed to our newsletter at bennetvalley.org, it's free. And a reminder, the easiest way to contact us is you can just hit reply to any email you get from us and we'll all see it. That's
Mhm.
just the easiest way to send a message or anything you need.
Great.
Very good.
Well, thanks
Well,
again, Chris and Robert, for making this happen for everyone. Thank you.
Yeah.
okay, so I'm going to stop recording now. Stop recording. Yes.